Welcome in, everybody, to the 423 Football Podcast. Today is going to be our Week 9 recap show. I'm your host, Brandon Bouchard, joined here again by Brett Hamilton.
Hello!
And it was an eventful week in football. It was
eventful.
It got thankfully not too many injuries this week.
No, surprisingly.
A lot of ejections, a lot of fights going on, people getting tested, getting in mid-season form.
Yeah.
A lot of tension.
Yeah, lots of frustration.
Yeah,
just lots of teams frustrated out there.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, you and me both know that. Right
a lot
now.
of fans frustrated.
Yeah, unfortunately. But anyway, like I said, Week 9 recap today. We're going to go over some news, quite a bit of news. Not really injury related, but in other departments, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll give you standouts, flops, stock ups, stock downs, and waiver wire adds at the end, and maybe some streamers. I know we're still kind of in the bye weeks. Obviously, this week's not going to be as bad as the past 2 weeks.
Nope.
But bye weeks are still a thing. So,
yep. Yeah.
Before we jump into that, we have another beer of the episode. You want to introduce this one, Brett?
It is Delirium Nocturnum from the brewery of Browridge.
You can't pronounce that.
No, it's Belgium. It's the oldest brewery in the world from 1635. They also make Delirium Tremens, which I have had before. I think this is just like more a darker version. That's where the Nocturnum name comes from.
I get it. Who would have thought? Yeah, mine pretty much is almost gone. It's like I lost like half of mine.
We had a slight mishap before the show. It was about half foam. Brandon's bottle looked like a volcano. The foam was erupting from. But I actually like this. Is one of my favorite darker beers.
Do you agree that it's kind of coffee-esque?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know if that's what it's meant to be or what it is, but
it's definitely a darker one.
Explain the name.
Well, Delirium Nocturnum. Delirium Tremens, the other one that we don't have. It is an actual medical condition that is a rapid onset of confusion caused by the withdrawal from alcohol. And when I was reading that definition, a few 423 stars came to mind. Just kidding. No, not you. No.
We friends of the show.
No one has a problem. No one has a medical condition. But
not yet. Just early signs.
Just early signs.
Anyway, all right. Before we jump into the show and start talking fantasy football, I do want to mention about an hour. Obviously, we're recording this on Tuesday night. About an hour before this, we had breaking news that Roy Halladay, former MLB pitcher, passed away in a plane crash in the Gulf of Mexico. So, just prayers out to all of his family and everyone involved with that. Because I remember growing up watching baseball because I didn't watch it like football from an early point in my life. But I mean it was kind of early on. But I remember the three guys that I always remember watching were Pedro Martinez, Randy Johnson, Roy Halladay.
Yeah.
So it's just weird seeing.
He's only 40. I mean, it's not like he's ancient.
No. But it's just weird seeing someone you watch for that long just pass away.
Yeah, it's crazy. This is terrible.
It's messed up. All right, into the news. We'll get into fantasy football now. All right, first things first. Zach Ertz, he did not play this past game. He was dealing with a hamstring injury, which is kind of odd because we expected him to play up until the game, and then about 10, 15 minutes beforehand, says he's out.
Yeah,
so,
I hope everyone was paying attention.
Yeah, he does have a bye week this week, so that'll help.
So I'm definitely not playing him this week.
Yes. That'll help get back on track. Hopefully he'll get healthy. Leonard Fournette also did not play on Sunday. We're having some technical difficulties over there.
I'm sorry if you can hear that mic drop.
Brett left the building, mic drop. But yeah, Leonard Fournette did not play on Sunday for disciplinary reasons. Apparently he missed a few like curfews, and then the team picture was like the final kicker.
I hadn't really followed that story very much, but all I know is my heart dropped whenever he said he was going to be out for the game because I thought it was that ankle, and I was like, oh man, this is a bigger problem than they were letting on. But then it turns out it was just discipline issue. So the silver lining is he had an extra week to rest. So.
That's obviously a good thing.
Hopefully that was a learning experience for him. So
he's not going to lose his job. And props to Doug Marone for doing this because if you're going to do it to
not every coach would do that,
especially to a star player like Fournette. Mm-hmm. All right, now ejections. Ejections were aplenty. AJ Green and Jalen Ramsey were ejected for fighting in their game. Carlos Hyde got ejected for throwing a punch as well. Mike Evans should have been ejected, which leads to we already know that he has a 1-game suspension, and I assume that's the reason why, or part of the reason why, is because he didn't get ejected.
I have all the salt in me at this point.
Yeah,
I was so mad yesterday. I have very strong feelings towards this subject, and I'll just lay it a little. I won't go on forever, but okay. AJ Green and Jalen Ramsey got ejected. They are playing next week.
Yes.
AJ Green, well, both of them got ejected second to last play of the first half. They missed 2 quarters of football, and they're on the field next week.
Yep.
Mike Evans should have been ejected. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
But because the ref didn't throw him out, he has to miss 4 quarters of football in a game that the Buccaneers desperately need to win.
Yes.
They didn't need him in that game because the game was already lost. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't have mattered. He would have been fined, and it would have been anything. But just because he didn't get thrown out, he has to miss an entire game of football. It just really, really irritates me. And the whole Jalen Ramsey thing, that really irritates me too, because I don't feel like he should have been ejected.
Ramsey shouldn't have. I think they just kind of had like they were at that point, the boiling point where you see 2 guys getting into it that much, something's going to keep going if you keep both of them in. Yeah. So I mean, I do agree somewhat that it's kind of safe to throw them both out, but AJ Green, if there was someone out of like all these guys to get suspended, I think it should.
Oh yeah, I have no idea why he's not suspended. I mean,
that was grabbed the dude around the neck.
Yeah.
Slammed him down twice, and then just started wailing on the guy.
I mean, he never stopped throwing punches. No. I mean, he just kept going. And that was, to me, more egregious than any of these other things, even Carlos Hyde.
See, Carlos Hyde's, I understand his ejection.
Once you throw a punch, you have to be ejected, which Mike Evans did, and he should have been ejected for that.
Yeah.
But Jalen, the worst part about that ejection was the reasoning that the refs gave after the game. They said Jalen was the instigator, and he threw him out because of what happened. So you're telling me that had AJ Green not gone ballistic and tried to choke him out, he would have played the rest of the game?
Yeah, if they're talking about instigate, see, I don't like the inconsistency across,
and that's the problem.
Because obviously, if they're talking about Jalen Ramsey instigating and then AJ Green reacting, we saw in the Buccaneers game, Lattimore and Jameis were basically instigating, and then Mike Evans comes and starts the whole brawl.
Yeah.
And Mike Evans is the one being suspended at this point. I honestly, if they're not going to suspend, if they're going to suspend one guy and not the rest of them, then I think just leave no suspension.
Right.
Fine the guy.
Just fine him.
Obviously, this should be a much heavier fine than say just like a penalty, like a defenseless receiver penalty or something like that.
Oh yeah.
But I mean,
all of it was over the top.
If you charge them enough money and say you have to pay this, they're going to learn.
Yeah.
It's obviously these $10,000 fines aren't putting a dent in it, but you bump it up to get it around $100,000, they're gonna their ears are going to perk up.
I just don't like how they use the being ejected as kind of like a mini suspension.
Yeah.
I just really don't like that call at all.
Yeah.
It's just so subjective because, like we saw, Mike Evans should have been ejected. He didn't, so now he's suspended. AJ Green should have been ejected. He was, and now he's not suspended.
Or they could at least do it kind of like college teams do, kind of like monitor themselves, and like Mike Evans could serve like a half game suspension, like 2 quarters.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad about that.
Yeah, but Mike Evans is appealing, so maybe
he is appealing, and his appeal definitely should mention that AJ Green's not suspended.
Yeah,
just base it on that, and I think you have a solid chance.
That's definitely a good argument. All right, speaking of the Bucs, Jameis Winston's going to be shut down for a few weeks, or until his shoulder heals.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's going to be at least 3-4 weeks.
I was thinking 3 weeks
because it's an AC joint sprain on top of I think something else. I can't even remember.
It's a rear deltoid issue. I don't know what that is.
But AC joints are just I don't know much about them, but I know Randall Cobb dealt with it for better part of last year and the year before, and you can barely raise your arm above your shoulder, and it lingers, and it's very, very hard to heal, especially if you take another hit on it.
Right, and that's been the problem. That's why it's so concerning. Is he keeps being kind of injured, and they keep playing him because they have to win games, but he's not healthy enough to play, and so now they're finally just pulling the plug on him. And I
think they need to preserve him because we obviously see what is happening with Andrew Luck.
Yeah, you don't
shoulders.
Don't want that. I mean, if he has to have surgery, that would be devastating. But
but obviously Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to be the guy moving forward, or not moving forward, but for the foreseeable future, I guess.
Which I actually don't think that.
I don't think it's going to be that bad.
I don't think it downgrades the offensive weapons that much. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick is not a very good quarterback, and he's going to throw too many interceptions, and it's going to be rough as a Buccaneers fan. But as a fantasy owner of these weapons, I don't think you'll see much difference.
All right, Ezekiel Elliott, his hearing is scheduled for Thursday. He will meet with the Second Circuit Appeals Court. I wish I could just say that this will be the last of the 2017.
Just throw your hands up in the air. Man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think because it's so late in the week, I'm pretty sure he's going to play this week.
I think that's what I heard. They won't have a decision posted or early enough to take him out of the game. So I think he's good to go this week. But if he is suspended after that,
fantasy playoffs.
That blows the whole fantasy playoffs.
Yeah. So hold on to Alfred Morris and Darren McFadden for a little longer if you can. All right. Teddy Bridgewater is likely to be actually he will be activated. Yep. I shouldn't say likely. Will be activated and back up Case Keenum in Week 10. So
I'm excited.
Yeah, I think Case.
I'm just glad that he's playing football again.
Yeah, I think as long as Keenum and the Vikings are winning, I think for at least a couple of weeks while Teddy gets back in the rhythm of things. But eventually, Teddy Bridgewater is going to take over that role. Yeah. They're not winning a Super Bowl with Case Keenum.
No,
Teddy Bridgewater.
But Case Keenum has earned a starting spot. I mean, he's done well.
Oh yeah,
he's filling in for Sam Bradford, who is also going to go on the IR probably. Yeah. But Case Keenum has shown that he's competent. There's no reason to rush Teddy back in there to try to save the season. So that the Vikings are in a pretty good spot with their quarterbacks, I think.
Yeah. Last bit of news: Josh Gordon is scheduled to report to the Browns on Thursday, I believe.
Yep.
He can practice November 20th and play Week 13. What do you make of him saying that he was high and drunk pretty much every game that he played?
I mean, whatever. I mean, I'm not really surprised by that. I mean, he had so many problems.
No. Yeah, that's a one thing. People are coming out and be like, "This is like, how did he do this?" and stuff like that. And I was like, "Are you really that surprised?" Like,
no, I'm not surprised at all.
I mean, there's stories of people doing this all the time, like especially in baseball, people drinking in the dugout and things like that. Yeah. And honestly, like being high, like he said he would like go and like smoke and then go to the game and obviously dominate in his games. But like I don't know if you've seen they had an article a few weeks ago on like smelling salts that players use, like the ammonia packets.
Oh yeah,
and that they use there was like a story of Ezekiel Elliott would use a smelling salts packet before every single offensive drive.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's just like regulations and what's allowed and what's not allowed, but I really don't see the difference in Josh Gordon doing what he did, smoking. Obviously, I understand. It's
illegal.
Well, it's apples and oranges. I understand that. But it's like the same kind of like under the influence, I should say.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
In some way. I've been meaning. I was talking to Matt, who is in our league as well, and we were talking about the smelling salts, and I was like, I need to go find some of this stuff, and we'll try one day.
Smelling salts?
Yeah. I just want to, because I know it's like, I mean, I don't think it's like the ammonia packets like you see in like doctor's offices, where they just like you smell it and wake you up. Like, but I mean, I know it's supposed to have like that effect, but I don't think it's supposed to be like that strong.
Yeah, right.
But I just want to try it.
I don't.
Maybe we'll try. Maybe we'll try it on the show. I'll get them on Thursday. All right, moving to our standouts of the week. Week 9 standouts. We had, we had quite a few high scores, surprising high scores, in my opinion.
Surprising high scores. Not very many, like, expected high scores, I don't think.
All right, we'll start with the quarterback position. Who you got at the quarterback position for your standout?
Dak Prescott. He had a pretty strong game. I mean, he's going to get it done through the air. He had finished with 27 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown, which to couple with the 2 passing touchdowns. For fantasy, I mean, he's been doing great. But just if you watch that game and just how he manages it, and he looks like an experienced quarterback at this point. And I think going forward, it's going to be pretty strong. You have to monitor his offensive weapons a little bit. Dez is banged up. Terrence Williams is also banged up.
Zeke could be gone.
I mean, you really have to monitor that whole situation. But he's looked like a really strong veteran quarterback.
Yeah, my standout of the week is going to be Jared Goff.
Oh yeah,
311 yards, 4 touchdown passes, one of the prettiest deep balls I've seen all year, aside from Deshaun Watson's.
Yeah.
Obviously that one going to Sammy Watkins, but
which is exciting on another front.
I don't know. He caught one ball. It wasn't like crazy,
but it was awesome.
That it was. I will say it was against the Giants, who have pretty much given up on the season. They even gave up just on the game in general. But Goff is looking very, very good.
Yeah, that offense just looks really good.
Dude, it's just, the Rams, man. It's just night and day. Literally, if Sean McVay doesn't win Coach of the Year, something's wrong. And Jeff Fisher just needs to never, ever be around a football again.
No, I don't. What is Jeff Fisher doing now?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay.
It is just
That's
nothing.
what I thought.
The Rams have hardly any new pieces.
No, I mean, it's like basically the same team as last year.
They have a few more weapons. I understand
Watkins,
that.
that they're not even using.
Yeah, Watkins and Cooper Kupp. But, I mean, they're just... Obviously, Gurley's their best player. They're using him. Surprise.
Yeah, surprise.
But anyway, running back standouts. Who you have?
I have the tandem of Damian Williams and Kenyon Drake for the Miami Dolphins. It really came out and surprised everyone. It was a full-on running back committee, but they both offered you, if you picked up and played both of them, I don't think you were disappointed. Damian Williams obviously had a little bit of better of a fantasy day with 61 total yards, and he got the touchdown ultimately. But Kenyon Drake, you weren't sad about that. He had 104 total yards. Of course, 42 of those yards came from one kind of blown run.
It was a pretty run.
It was a pretty run.
He is fast.
He is really quick, but I mean, it was weird getting rid of Jay Ajayi, but I guess you just get rid of one of your.
It opens up the offense.
Yeah,
really
I think that's the whole point. Adam Gase just hates Jay Ajayi, but I guess they just didn't need him for that offensive scheme.
No, apparently not.
Yeah.
I do want to kind of mention Jay Ajayi in our standouts because I was not very high on him, and I'm still not like completely. I still think
I still am.
I think he's still downgraded from his moving from Miami to Philly, or not so much downgraded, but stays about the same.
I would say it stays the same. I don't know that it's a huge upgrade.
No, yeah, which is, I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
But there's they obviously have a lot of guys that they want to use. We clearly saw that this last game. I just don't think that Jay Ajayi is going to be that like premier. Like, he's not going to jump into like Devonta Freeman range even, or Todd Gurley range.
But
he'll be a solid low end RB1. I
think he's gonna. It'll take him a couple of weeks, but I think he's gonna emerge as the number one running back there. I mean, you're not gonna see any other running back take a 44-yard run to the house. I mean, that's the benefit that he offers. You know, in his very limited role, he scored a long touchdown. I mean that speaks volumes to how they feel about him going forward. I think LeGarrette Blount, you're not going to see him run for 44 yards. I mean he just trucks over people. That's what he does. And I just don't think that that's what they want going forward.
Yeah, we'll still have to monitor that. Obviously, they have a bye week this week, but
yeah, but they are feeling pretty good going into that bye week.
Yeah, my running back standout is I had two guys listed, but I'll go with.
Say them both. Just come on.
Okay, sure.
Just bring it.
Yeah. First one, Alvin Kamara, 152 yards in this game, 2 touchdowns. He is really. I mean, he's like Mark Ingram's the Thunder, Alvin Kamara's the Lightning.
Yeah.
It's just incredible to watch both of those play and that offense just run. But Alvin Kamara is just exciting, man. He is. He's kind of like what. Really exciting. He's almost like kind of what we saw from Deion Lewis. His first like big year with the Patriots.
Yeah.
But this is even better.
It is.
It is.
I can't believe that. Just look at what he's doing and what Christian McCaffrey. Although Christian McCaffrey's coming off a pretty big week, but just compare those two, and it's just night and day.
And when they were drafted,
that's the point is when they were drafted.
Yeah. Another guy I had was Matt Forte. I do want to mention him.
Wow.
14 carries, 77 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also caught 4 of 4 targets for 19 yards. Bilal Powell, obviously, he was like the guy we were talking about early on in the season. But Forte,
preseason, yep.
Forte, if he's like 100% healthy, they like using him a ton.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And
yep.
I mean, he's still a good back. Even he's a little long in the tooth, but he's still getting it done.
Yeah. I don't have any problem with Bilal Powell still. I think going forward, he's going to earn a bigger role. But I mean, he's still got Matt Forte. It's the same. I kind of compare that to like Marlon Mack and Frank Gore. You know, they're still committed to Frank Gore, just like they're still committed to Matt Forte. Even though these two younger players have shown more sparks, Marlon Mack definitely should have a better role, I think. But it's kind of the same way.
Yeah. All right. Wide receiver position. Stand out. Who you got?
Terrence Williams, for Cowboys. On the opposite side of Dez coming off that. Oh, well, actually, they're both coming off injuries. But I think Dez is a little bit more banged up. But Terrence Williams, 9 for 141 yards and no touchdowns, which is very strange for the 141 yards. I wanted to ask, what do you think Chris would think about him coming from Baylor?
I don't know. There's a lot of Baylor wide receivers in the NFL right now.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything from Chris, but I might have to ask him what he thinks about old Terrence Williams. But yeah, I mean, if Dez misses this week and Terrence is good to go, I have no problem playing him.
Yeah, definitely. My standout's going to be Marvin Jones, 107 yards and 2 touchdowns in this game. This is 3 straight weeks where he's finally getting the yardage and touchdowns, back on track. He's clearly the red zone guy. I think Matt Stafford's finally realizing that his tight ends are terrible, and he's got to go somewhere else in the red zone. Their red zone offense has been pretty bad. We saw it on a few goal line stands on Monday night, but Marvin Jones, aside from Golden Tate, because Golden Tate's still going to get his, but Marvin Jones is the deep threat. Marvin Jones can actually go up and make plays that Golden Tate clearly can't.
Yeah.
So
Golden Tate's still the PPR champ. But
and I think Marvin Jones is he's in the top 10 in wide receivers right now.
Yeah, it's really surprising. Do you have any concerns going forward? It's going to look like a little bit like last year, where Marvin Jones had this really big first part of the season and then just completely dropped off the face of the earth.
See, I don't. I think it's going to be because he was dealing with a few injuries last year, so I think it's going to be more consistent. And obviously, we haven't seen this.
I think so too.
We haven't seen this until the past couple weeks, so maybe it'll be more of a second half year than a first half year.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Which is good for.
I really like him going forward.
Yeah. Let's see. Tight end standout. What we got?
Evan Ingram, specifically, not just for this week, but he's leading all the rookie tight ends in yards, receptions. He's tied with touchdowns with O.J. Howard. But he is on a record-setting pace for a rookie tight end, which historically, rookie tight ends have really struggled in the NFL. So this is really special to see someone succeed like he has. And he's in a really good situation. I mean, not team-wise because they're really hurting. I mean, their season's like crumbling.
He might have a new quarterback, apparently.
Eli Manning doesn't know whether or not he can play football anymore. It's just a sad situation. But he is a wide receiver in a tight end's body. I mean, he is so fast, and he's got the hands. He had a couple of rookie drops, but I think, going forward, he's going to be a really good tight end.
Yeah, I've been raving on Evan Ingram ever since the draft. I thought he was going to be the best tight end out of the draft, and
that was a big pickup.
Yeah, he's pretty much the only thing working for the Giants.
Yeah, and he's getting better at blocking. He's in there on those blocking plays too, so that really bodes well because you're going to see his snap rate go up.
Yeah. Stand up for me at tight end position. Jared Cook, 8 of 9, caught 8 of 9 balls, 126 yards.
Yeah, that was a dumb game. Yeah, you were on the receiving end of that. Yeah. That fantasy production.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I faced Jared Cook in every single league this week, but
Dude, I got so many trade offers for Jared Cook, like trying to get my players. Like it was Sterling Shepard for Jared Cook.
Whatever.
In a league that I have Cameron Brate and Evan Ingram.
Perfect.
I love rostering 3 tight ends.
But Jared Cook, he's becoming more and more a focal point of that offense.
He really is, yeah.
Crabtree did hardly anything this past game. Amari's still kind of just, he had his...
Has he turned into a boom or bust play?
Kind of. He's kind of like Brandon Cooks for me.
Yeah.
But Jared Cook, the targets speak for themselves. 9 targets, and the yardage just...
I'll take any tight end that's getting targeted 9 times.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And we've seen this past couple weeks with Jared Cook. So, if you need a tight end out there, Jared Cook's, he's looking pretty good right now.
Except not this week. He's on bye.
Well, don't start him this week.
Don't start him this week.
All right, moving into the flops. We'll go kind of quick through these, running a little close on time. Who do you have as a flop at the QB position?
Tom Savage. I don't think anyone was playing Tom Savage this week.
I sure hope not.
No, but I just wanted to mention him just because it affects the entire Houston offense. 19 completions on 44 attempts.
That's a no good.
43% passing completion rate. Awful. And that was against the worst pass defense in the league, the Colts.
All right, my quarterback flop of the week is going to be Kirk Cousins. Yeah. Obviously, it was against Seattle, so it was a tough matchup. They won the game, but from a fantasy perspective, not the best game for Kirk Cousins. No. They're going to have another tough matchup this week. I believe they play Minnesota.
Yeah, very surprising win against the Seahawks. I will say that.
Yeah, but Kirk Cousins, I don't know, his fantasy value is kind of plummeting. They don't really. Yeah. They're winning more games kind of like slowly and methodically than Kirk Cousins just throwing the ball left and right.
Yeah.
Running back flop of the week, I got LaShawn McCoy, 25 yards.
Yeah.
25 yards.
I would have never guessed that one.
Yeah. Honestly, I could go on and on with running back flops. There are a bunch. C.J. Anderson, 9 for 13.
Yeah.
Doug Martin, 8 for 7.
Yeah. They just took him out of the game for some ungodly reason. Put in Peyton Barber and let him fumble about.
Yeah, but anyway, who do you got flopping?
Another running back, another solid top tier running back. Quotation marks. DeMarco Murray, 41 total yards. That's it.
He has somewhat of an excuse because he was banged up.
Yeah, but he has kind of been banged up every year. Never practices because he's always kind of hurt.
And Derrick Henry's. He's looming.
I know.
He's right
I think we're going to talk about that in the next episode. I've got a couple of notes on Derrick Henry, but yeah. And another flop I had was Chris Thompson, 31 yards in a game that they won.
Yeah.
Like you'd think that Chris Thompson, with his big playability, he would be the one winning you those games. But 31 yards. That's it.
Yep. Wide receiver flop. I got Michael Crabtree, as I mentioned a few minutes ago. 40 yards in this game. Actually, towards the end of the game, he wasn't even in on 2 wide receiver sets. It was Amari and Cordarrelle Patterson for I have no idea why. But maybe something, I don't know, maybe Crabtree's banged up a little bit. But
I don't know. That was pretty confusing.
Kind of odd.
Yeah. Especially in a game that Amari didn't really do much either. Wide receiver flop for me, I got Mike Evans. 1 for 13. It's not exactly what you want from the top 5 wide receiver option. Will Fuller, he had 8 targets and 2 catches for 32 yards.
Tom Savage, man.
I mean, I honestly, that's the point I'm trying to make with Tom Savage. With him being the flop of the week, is like you can expect a 25% completion rate for all of those wide receivers. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins was about the same. I mean, he had the touchdown. He still provided you value, but man, I'd say thank you and get out of here.
Yeah. All right, going to move into our stock ups and stock downs of the week. Give me one stock up, one stock down.
Stock up, Alvin Kamara. We already talked about him, but man, he's just PPR champ, standard league champ. I mean, he's going to be a league winner, I feel like, going forward. Stock down, I'll go Joe Mixon. I was going to say Will Fuller, but I'll go Joe Mixon. He didn't have a run over 7 yards against the Jaguars.
Granted, Jags are getting a little better. They got Marcel Darius now. Patting the run
but
D.
It's still like one of the worst run Ds in the league.
But I mean, we've seen this throughout the entire season. Even
he's averaging 3 yards a carry.
It's not good.
It's not.
He hasn't looked good.
No bueno. The Jags have up until this past game have allowed 5.2 yards per carry, and he got like 1.
And Jeremy Hill was out, so this was a perfect time for him to take over.
That was my other point. Is he had 13 attempts for 31 yards. 13 attempts is not very much, and that's with Jeremy Hill out. So you take away one option, you think this is a perfect game script for Joe Mixon, but total flop.
Yeah, stock up for me, one of the stock ups for me. I won't say I want to say this. It's not because when I say the name, it's not going to sound like a stock up, but people are cooling on this guy because they saw what he did early on in the season, and they're seeing what he's doing now. And
I know exactly who you're going to say.
The snap count's going down. Kareem Hunt.
Yep, I knew that's exactly. Don't waver, man. Don't sell him low.
Do not.
That's a terrible option.
I'm saying stock up right now. Obviously, we saw the snap count go to close to 50% this past week, but they have a bye this week. I think they kind of were resting him into the bye, and after the bye, I think they're gonna run him like crazy
because that's how they win games.
Yep. Clearly, they haven't been winning, or they've been struggling when Kareem Hunt hasn't been the playmaker.
Yep.
Stock down, I'm going to go with Aaron Jones. Obviously we saw Aaron Jones, especially they tried to get him going, but
we saw on the first few drives. I mean, especially that first drive. I mean, he was central to and they did well. I mean, they got the blocked field goal, but I don't know. With this new offense, they're going to use so many guys, try to get things going. And they're going to be down so much that Brett Hundley's going to be throwing. Aaron Jones isn't going to have that many opportunities to score. On a side note, I needed 3 points from Aaron Jones.
How many did he get you?
1.8.
Well, that doesn't do it, does it?
To beat Josh in the Chef's League.
Ugh.
It was terrible. I'm so salty about that. But I won't go in.
A lot of salt today.
Yeah, just a lot of salt. I'm just throwing it at you.
All right, moving to the waiver wire ads of the week. Really not that many to consider.
No, it is a quiet week on the waiver wire front.
Surprisingly. But give me top 5 guys you're looking at.
I'd say Robert Woods, because I really like what Jared Goff is doing, and I have no problem playing him. Damian Williams. A lot of people were saying Kenyon Drake was the guy to pick up, including me, which I will still have him. But if Kenyon Drake was the feature in your waiver wire ad last week, Damian Williams may still be available. Marquise Lee, if he's available, he's not available in a whole lot of leagues now, but he's providing consistent fantasy points. Danny Woodhead is coming back from injury. Don't let him slip through. D.D. Westbrook is also coming back. I think we mentioned him last week, but he's still available in like 70% of leagues.
Yeah. Greg Olsen, I want to mention too. He'll be back pretty soon.
Please pick up Greg Olsen.
A few running backs I was looking at. Thomas Rawls. Looks like Eddie Lacy might be out for a little bit with a groin injury. Orleans Darkwa still only 18% owned.
Especially this week.
Yeah, he's the running back for that awful team. But
yeah.
Deion Lewis is still out there in quite a few leagues. Robbie Anderson, Sterling Shepard, still under 14% owned.
Yes, if Sterling Shepard is not owned in your league, I would say he'd be my number one.
Is that Robbie Anderson? I like Robbie Anderson a lot, though.
Yeah,
I drafted him in our.
I thought he was owned in a lot of leagues, though. Is he still
14%.
Okay,
14%. In NFL.com.
Okay,
but
right.
yeah, and I drafted him as like a flyer this year, and it didn't start out very well, but McCown finally got
you held on to him every week?
No. I don't have him anymore.
Okay.
I dropped him early on because
you had to.
Yeah.
You know,
but,
injuries, stuff like that.
Yeah, but Robbie Anderson, I really, really like his talent.
Yep.
I do want to give a few streaming options before we close out the show. I know bye weeks are still a thing, and there's a lot of quarterbacks that are on the waiver wires that have been just dominating the fantasy points.
Yeah.
Jared Goff, obviously. Yeah. Jared Goff.
He's on a lot of people's waiver wires. Yeah. If you're in a situation where you need to stream quarterbacks, you could do a whole lot worse than him.
Josh McCown. He'll be going up against the Bucks, I believe, this week.
Yes.
And let's see who else we got out there. Brett Hundley. I do kind of want to. He's playing the Bears this week. Bears defense has been pretty good, but Hundley got 18 points in fantasy last week. He got the rushing touchdown, so there is rushing yards, and they're slowly starting to let him pass more. I think that'll add to it. And I do want to mention Ryan Fitzpatrick, because obviously Jameis is going to be out. Ryan Fitzpatrick might be a viable fantasy option. When
he came in to play for this past game was just atrocious on all fronts, but when he came in to play for Jameis when he played the Cardinals, he did well. He had a long bomb to Mike Evans, providing him fantasy value. He had a couple of shots to Deshaun Jackson. Maybe he can
get Deshaun going.
Get Deshaun going downfield and take a couple of shots. That would be perfect.
He might have to if Evans sits out this game. So
yeah, which I do expect him. So I mean, I think Deshaun Jackson's a pretty good play this week.
Yeah. All right. Before we close out the show, I see that you downed that beer.
I did.
Hella fast.
Yeah. I like darker beers. This one was really good. I think I like the Delirium Tremens better. It's a lighter version of this. Not very.
See, I can see the coffee grounds in there.
Yeah, I honestly think those might be coffee grounds, or this beer just might be really old and World Market needs to refund me. I'm not sure, but I thought it tasted good.
Yeah, I like the taste of like the coffee type beers, but
they're just heavy. Yeah.
I just can't drink them very fast. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're not my favorite, coffee ones, but I mean
they're heavy.
Yeah, I can sip on them.
I can sip.
All right, so that's going to be our show for today. We will be back tomorrow with our Week 10 preview show, and then we'll be back on Friday with our League of Records show. Yes?
Breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Mike Evans loses the appeal. He will miss one game.
Man, so Bucks are going to be without Jameis and Mike Evans. I don't really know what to think. Maybe a big game for Deshaun Jackson. Love Cameron Brate this week, actually.
Hey, make him Brate again.
Love Cameron Brate. But yeah, anyway, like I said, on Friday we'll have our League of Records show. We might definitely, if you haven't been checking into our League of Records show, we're going to have our mid-season fantasy awards on that show. So it's not just awards for our league. It's like awards like fantasy MVP.
Players.
Yeah, okay. Fantasy MVP so far, fantasy bust so far. So yeah, definitely you're going to want to check out that one. So that's going to be our show for today. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the423football. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube. Give us a like. Leave your comments and reviews. Thanks for listening. We are the 423 Football Podcast.
Peace out.